Hi everyone. I am jumping on a live today to talk with you about morning rituals and morning practices and carving out and designing a beautiful, nourishing morning practice. Hi Danny. A beautiful, nourishing morning practice for yourself that helps connect you in with your feminine energy and with your body. It is such a beautiful time in the mornings to be coming into our feminine and connecting in with our bodies in preparation for our day, because our day, once we get into our work and our to-do list and everything we've got to tackle in that day, it usually pulls us out of connection a little bit with our bodies and with our feelings, and we get a little bit more into our heads. So having a morning practice and even an evening practice as well can be beautiful for this. So you can apply what I'm talking about the morning to the evening, but creating this time for yourself in the morning is such a beautiful thing to do and can really set you up for a gorgeous day ahead. Now, I very often share snippets of my morning practices on my stories. I've been sharing that on and off for years, but my morning practice has changed and evolved a lot over the years, and I wanted to speak a little to what my practice looks like now. I can see my phone's going darker. I hope it's not, hope my connection's looking okay. But I want to speak to what my practice looks like now and how I really bring more feminine-based principles into my morning practice. So my morning practice has evolved so much over the years, and what's changed it most recently is the intention that I'm now bringing to my morning practice. So one of the most important starting points for designing any morning ritual for yourself is having an intention for it. Like, what is the purpose of this practice? And so often we set up self-care practices or self-love practices or whatever it is in our life because we think we should, or we see other people do it, or we set it up how other people are doing it, and we're not really tuning in to ask ourselves, why am I creating this practice? What is the purpose of this for me? How do I want to feel as a result of creating this practice, and what's the intention for it? And that question, that intention, has what allowed my morning practice to change a lot over the past couple of years. Because when I very first started doing morning practices, I think my intention one was to cram as much into it as I could. I spent a lot of it meditating and journaling and pulling oracle cards and really trying to connect in and get aligned and receive guidance. And I realized after a little while of doing that, my morning practice was incredibly rigid. It was very heady, it was very structured, and I spent a lot of time journaling and trying to download guidance, but I wasn't really getting into my body. I wasn't really feeling deeply connected with myself as a result of my practice. And it sort of felt like this to-do list that I went through. And as I came more into working with feminine principles and wanting to embody my feminine energy and live more, having my feminine energy flow more through my day with me, I realized my morning practice had to change. And my new intention for my morning practice became to connect with my feminine and to open and soften my body. Now you can see, just by changing my intention, that guides a very different set of sort of practices that I would want to use in my morning practice, right? It makes it completely different. And so once I really clarified what that was about for me, I was able to choose what practices I would use during that time that would actually make me feel how I wanted to feel, right? It sounds obvious, but if you currently have a morning practice, assess at the moment what the intention is of that practice, why you do the different components of that, of how you spend your morning, and whether you're actually getting the feelings from it that you want to feel, whether you're actually coming out of it feeling what the whole purpose of that practice is. It doesn't have to be complicated, it doesn't have to be detailed. It could be one thing that you do. as long as it creates that feeling and as long as it helps meet that intention of what the whole purpose of the practice or the ritual is for you. So as my intention shifted to be focused more now on coming into my feminine and feeling connected to my body and feeling soft and open in my body, I started spending that time differently. And if you're wanting to bring more feminine into your morning practice, you want to focus more on things that involve movement, that involve your body, and things that bring we just paused because I'm running out of battery. That's not a good sign. Things that bring pleasure to your body or activate your senses. So I used to sit still in meditation a lot, right? In my morning practice, which is great. I think meditation is fantastic, and it's fantastic if you're wanting to get grounded. But the feminine wants to move. The feminine doesn't want to be stuck still. The feminine wants to move. And as I began to integrate more movement into my morning practice, that helped me come more into connection with my feminine energy. So it looks like rolling out my yoga mat and first of all, activating my senses. So the feminine experiences pleasure through her sensuality, through beautiful, beautiful lighting, beautiful smells, clothes that feel really good on her body, nice music playing. She's got to have all of the senses getting activated, and you can find so much pleasure through your senses. So I set my space, I light candles, I dim the lights, I get the diffuser going, or you could light some incense or light a candle. I put on really comfy clothes. I get a nice drink, maybe a cup of tea. So see how I'm tapping into all the senses to make sure it all feels really pleasurable to me. And then I roll out the yoga mat and I just start moving through like gentle, intuitive stretching, just with the intention to get into my body, not to stretch necessarily, not to work out or anything like that, to get into my body, to connect with my body, and to move through different stretches and movements that just are intuitive. I'm just following what I feel, and the intention is to feel connected to my body and to open and soften my body, as I said, because we're all holding tension, and when your body is tense and clamped down, energy can't flow through, and the feminine is energy, and the more open and unkinked and soft and receptive your body is, the more you can circulate that beautiful feminine energy through your body without it clamping down and getting stuck and shut down by the tension that we're holding in our body. And so I found as I brought this intention to feel pleasure in my body, to feel pleasure with my senses, to open and soften my body and come into my body, my practice, my morning ritual has had this beautiful feminine flow to it. From there, and what I actually find for the feminine is use movement before you want to go into a stillness practice. It makes it a lot easier to sit still without like energy buzzing within you or resistance being in you. So I use that movement, and sometimes I'll go into dance then, or I'll use dance at the end. And if I'm feeling really connected, I might then sit on my sheepskin rug, again, where I have these beautiful, this beautiful kinesthetic feeling of the sheepskin rug, and I might journal, I might flow right there. Flow writing just from feeling, not from thinking, just from feeling. Or I might sit in a meditation, and as I'm meditating, kind of like roll my shoulders and my hips a little and breathe into different parts of my body. So I'm not like sitting still, serious meditating. It's like a sensual meditation, and that just helps again keep me circulating energy through my body, which brings in more of that feminine element. You want to also pay attention to when you're coming into more of a feminine based practice, how you're feeling and what you're needing. So you don't want any rigidness in your practice. You want it to flow so that it's being guided really deeply by what you need, by actually what you need that day. So we create the masculine structure of our practice, which is the time, the space, the commitment we have to stepping into that practice. So the masculine's the time and space, the structure, the container. We say, I'm going to sit down from 6 till 7 and that's my time. And I'm committed to that and I'm going to do that every day, or it could be for 10 minutes if you just want to get started something simple. But what happens in that container, what happens in that time and space is guided by your feminine, by what you feel, by what you're needing, by where you're at in your cycle, by what mood you've woken up in, by whether or not you're tired, whatever it is. That's how we stay more in tune with the feminine. We listen to how we feel and we let how we feel guide what happens in that container that we've set for ourselves. So my practice is different every day based on what I'm feeling and based on what I'm needing. So make sure you're tuning in to ask your body and yourself, what am I feeling and what do I need in this practice today? So as I said, if I'm feeling to, I will go and I'll journal and I'll meditate. If I'm not feeling to, I won't. I will keep moving through my intuitive movements, or I'll get up and I'll dance. And music is amazing for helping you move energy through your body, helping you to tap into different kind of archetypes of the feminine, whether you're tapping into a sensual or sexual energy, whether you're tapping into a soft, tender energy, whether you're tapping into something really powerful and fierce. We can use music to help channel these different aspects of the feminine and move them through our body. Like you might find, if you know in your day, you've got a really big day, you've got to do meetings and presentations and you've got to show up. You might channel something really like fierce and powerful as you dance in your morning practice. Or if you're like day one of your cycle and feeling super tender, you might channel something like that tender heart feeling through your movement with some really beautiful, soft, feminine music. So music is a beautiful way that we can, circulate energy through our bodies and process what we're feeling. So as I said, the kind of components of designing this beautiful practice is set, you use that kind of more masculine, practical, linear way of thinking to say, okay, what's a realistic time for me to do this practice in the morning? What time do I want to get up? How long do I want it to last for? What's my commitment around that? Then when you come to the practice each day, it's based on how you're feeling, right? What's present for you that day? What emotion, what energy, what's going on in your body? And keep in mind to activate those feminine components. You want to focus on movement, getting into your body, softening and opening places where you're holding tension so you can circulate, your radiance through you, because we need that open, we need our body to be open to allow that to happen and to be in our body. What else did I have on there? See if you do want to go into some type of practice around journaling or oracle cards even, or meditation, or whatever feels good to you. And then I like to wrap up with dance. I feel like dance at the end just like gets me in the zone for whatever I need for the day ahead. You want to make sure this is a nourishing practice for you. The feminine is all about nourishment and nurturing, so it's got to be very self-nurturing for you. No rules, no pressure, no expectations, no criticism if you don't do it perfectly. This is a beautiful, loving practice that you're creating for yourself to nurture yourself, to fill yourself up from within, and to activate whatever energy in your body that you're wanting to carry through your day. So, as I said right at the start, getting clear on my intention for my practice has been one of the most powerful ways that I've been able to create a practice that actually feels how I want it to feel, rather than looking how it should look or ticking items off a list. I'm mindful that I am running low on battery, so I don't want to push this too much longer, but if any of you have any questions about morning rituals, morning practices, ask away. I'm more than happy to answer, or places where you're struggling with setting up a ritual like that. And like I said, you can apply this to the evening as well. So I have an evening wind down ritual that is similar to a morning ritual. It doesn't involve dance, but it usually does involve, again, things that nourish my senses, that feel good to my senses, like getting the diffuser going on the bedside table, having some herbal tea, getting into my comfy clothes, having a bath or a shower is great, giving myself a body massage. And again, these are like the little bookends at the start and end of the day that help you come back to your body and your feminine energy if you've lost touch with it through the day. Because the day pulls us out. The day pulls us into our mind and into action. And so we've got to have those practices that bring us back and that reconnect us with our body and our beautiful feminine essence. Beautiful Justine, thank you so much for this. Excited to try more of this tomorrow. I can't wait to hear what parts you try of that, Justine. Let me know. Carolyn, I'm having trouble keeping my rituals. What should I do? Is there anything I should add to my rituals? So the part of us that can't honor that commitment, that's actually our inner masculine. It's our inner masculine that makes that commitment and stays in integrity and does it from a place of self-love. You know, this is a commitment you're making to yourself. Now, there's no pressure to have a morning practice. If this is something that feels heavy or like obligation or difficult for you, there's no pressure around it. But find the place within you that wants to do this for yourself because you want to show love for yourself. It's a commitment you want to make to you. If your whole day is about other people and other things, it's about carving out that space for you because you deserve that time. You deserve to be a priority. And so maybe it's about assessing within yourself the part of you that hasn't yet made that wholehearted decision and commitment to prioritize yourself, to prioritize your self-love, to really deeply honor yourself, and why that is. You know, what's stopping you making that commitment to yourself? Look at all the stories. It's too hard. I'm tired, whatever it is. And just find that place within you that really wants to learn how to love yourself more deeply and wants to practice a commitment to yourself. And keep it really simple initially. If you can only manage 15 minutes, start there. Set yourself up for success with that and then build on it. And I mentioned at the start as well, only put into your practice what feels good and what feels like what you need. All right, loves, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for joining me live. I've loved chatting with you all things morning rituals and feminine morning practices. And for those of you who are interested in more feminine-based juiciness, I'm opening up She is Magnetic next week. We're going to be talking all things feminine practices and getting that beautiful magnetic feminine energy circulating through your body. So keep an eye out for that next week if you are interested. Thanks for joining me, loves. I look forward to talking to you next time.